Hello.
Welcome back.
I never know how to start the podcast. Hi, you. Hey there. Hey, buddy. Hold on.
Hey there, champ.
Hey. Welcome.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
I didn't see you there.
Did you hear me counting?
Welcome
that was
to
almost
the
1,000.
Welcome to the 6th episode of the Tough Luck Tattoo Podcast. And today we're doing something a little bit different. We're sitting down with a client, which I don't think's ever been done. Maybe it's been done, and I just didn't know. But we're hanging out here with our buddy KTown. Say hello.
Hey guys.
Also known as, what did you say before? What was his nickname that you made up just now?
KTown Coochie Crusher.
That's it. That's the one.
I didn't take two.
Take two.
KTown Coochie Crusher.
There it is. We're gonna keep take one in there as well.
KTown Cutlery.
All right. So today we are, just hanging out. It's our off day. We fucked up an episode. You didn't need to know that, but now you do, and we're a week behind. We're trying to catch up. But, I'm just trying to be open and out there with everybody that listens.
Episode 7's totally titled, going to be Take Two.
Episode 7, Take Two with Kyle and Adam and Skylar. But yeah, so really quick, before we get too far into the podcast, we wanted to say thank you to everybody that's been listening to the podcast, all the awesome messages we've been getting, super radical, super righteous, that everybody's been reaching out and telling us that they enjoy it, because we didn't think that anybody was going to like it. So the other things that I wanted to get into was supporting the podcast. So we are going to keep the podcast free forever. We will never charge you, put you behind a paywall or anything for the podcast. But if you would like to support us, there is an app that we use to launch our podcast called Anchor FM. You can download that on the App Store, whether it be Google, Android, fucking Apple, whatever. It's called Anchor FM, and you can go onto our page on there and be an active listener. And that means you can choose to either give us $1 a month, $5 a month, up to $10 a month. There is no incentive for doing this. You're only doing it out of the kindness of your heart.
Support.
But
sure.
Yeah, we've spent a lot of money on cameras. So please, if you'd like to support the podcast and you're able to, please do that on Anchor. And
alternatively, Store Frontier.
Store Frontier as well,
merch,
yeah. So if you go to our Instagram page as well, we're not going to plug ourselves too long here, but if you go on our Instagram page, it's Tough Luck Tattoo Podcast. It's linked below in the Spotify description, Apple description, all the descriptions. You can click on our link in our bio, and that'll bring you over to our Store Frontier to purchase merch designed by Nick and myself and a few other the artists that we've had on the podcast, which would be super rad if you do that. Also, while we're on the topic, we wanted to thank Chaz and Chase for coming out and hanging out with us for episode, now I'm confused, 3 and 5, I think it was.
You're going to have to title them, dude.
Yeah. Well, no, they're titled just on there.
Oh, for us.
For us. Yeah, I should have like a fucking note in front of me for all the stuff I'm supposed to say.
Episode 2 is us, and then
Episode
3
is Chase, and then 5 that just released was Chaz, which was a fucking fun one.
2 with Chase, though.
2, I don't know. Yeah,
Maybe
it doesn't
not.
matter. You can easily look at it when you're on your phone right now.
It's all been like a blur.
Yeah, it's all been a blur. But anyway, so we're here. We're doing it now. Oh, yeah, the last thing. Our next episode, which was our previous episode, is going to be with Adam Dunning and Skylar Burnham, which I'm super excited about. We're going to be doing 2 podcasts this week. So we're going to be doing that one on Wednesday.
And they'll be plugging that on the video,
yes.
like right here.
We're gonna like insert it somehow. I don't know how. We're gonna. It'll be right. Yeah, it'll be right here in the video. All right. Anyway.
Real Vanna White.
Right. Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah.
Welcome. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for the intro to the pod. We're just trying to say thank you. We've had a whole lot of fun making this. It's a whole lot of work, but we're having a good time.
And it's way more feedback in return of the audience than we really naturally ever imagined. Truly, in this such little amount of time. So thank you. More than anything.
Yeah, being 6 episodes in and doing the amount of plays we've done is like super crazy. We only wanted to get 50 plays. That was our goal, and we've done 100% of that already. So
totally. So thank you all.
Yeah, thank you guys. And then we can kind of do one of these. All right. I fixed it.
Welcome back.
Holy shit. Welcome back, everyone. We've had nothing but problems the last couple of weeks, dude. Oh man.
Nothing worth a fuck ever came easy. I believe,
that's very true. So. I'm gonna go grab my Red Bull. You do a quick intro to Kyle. Real quick.
Yeah, Kyle. KTown.
We can call you Kyle. You're allowed to be called Kyle.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, who are you, man?
So I'm pretty much a client that came into the shop and then just ended up never leaving because I was accepted. So
yeah,
that's pretty much how it worked here.
One of us.
Yeah, totally. Definitely became definitely a homie naturally by default. So explain this, man. I mean, your first interaction with the shop, myself and another.
I think we should preface this with you've been getting tattooed by Nick for how long?
As of last week, it was 435 hours.
It's a lot of fucking
dude,
time.
I don't even think I have 400 hours on my whole
that's
body,
what
dude.
I said, man. It sucks. He's way more heavily tattooed than all of us.
Kyle has more tattoos than all of us, and I think that's righteous.
I do too, man. I'm definitely jealous.
But so you were just a walk-in, right? You just walked in, or did you know somebody
my little
here?
brother had been going to Jose's and getting some tattoo work done, and I just came back and was looking for a tattoo shop because I had some stuff that I wanted to get covered up. So he talked me into coming up here, and when I first came up here, I walked in and there was somebody in the front booth when I walked in. He tried to like bring me over and like start asking me questions, and I showed him what I wanted covered up, and it was on top of my hands at the time. It's really shitty.
It's gone now.
Yeah,
can't see
thank God.
That shit now.
But so when I came in, he tried to like start talking to me, and he got an attitude right away and started being a dickhead, and honestly pissed me off like within seconds because he was like, that's never coverable. He was like, you're never gonna be able to have that fixed. He was like, you might as well just cut your hand off.
Really? Were those words used exactly? Or was he just...
No, literally. Like, he literally told me, like, nobody is going to be able to fix that.
Wow. Okay.
And so, honestly, that was why I instantly never liked him from that time forward. But, so then Nick came out, because we were sitting there talking for, like, 20 minutes in the front. Nick came out, and he goes, what are you trying to have done? And I showed him my hand. And he's like, I have an appointment, and I think it was like 35 minutes or something. But he was like, come back there. He's like, I'll knock that shit out right now. I was like, for real? He was like, yeah, let's go. And I was like, all right. So I went back there, and he literally free-handed some stuff right on top of my hand. And, I mean, I think he used a marker or something real quick.
Yeah, just marking it on. Yeah.
And literally, he knocked that shit out, and it looked 1,000 times better, and never even had to touch it since.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I feel
cool.
like that's like the prime example of what we talked about on episode 4 was like, stop being a fucking dickhead, and if you can't do something...
Yeah, because I won't lie. Instantly, if Nick wouldn't have came out and talked to me, I never would have came back to this shop, ever have told anybody to ever come here, anything like that. Just
but that's
for
like
the
a
fact.
that's like a prime example of like good ownership of the shop. Like you have, you know what I mean? You came out, you took care of business when one of your employees were clearly doing something wrong. You took ownership of the situation and nailed it. And then that also transpired into you having a client that you've done over 400 hours on.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that is like a true testament of like customer service and your ability as an artist to knock something out in 45 minutes. You know what I mean? Something that I wouldn't do.
Well, that was
45
crazy
minutes.
though too. Like I looked at it, I was like, what is he talking about, man? It was already so light and like faded and stuff. Like what is you could have literally done like anything on it, and I think more or less like well but I mean I think the idea is like just don't I don't care how long you've been tattooing or anything like that, which he'd been being generous half the amount of time years that I've been tattooing, but just don't ever think that you're above like, nah, I don't want to do that, like, no matter what, man, we're still in business. We still, unfortunately, whatever, if you might feel that way, we're in business to make money. The money makes the world go round, and I'm not above anything. And in fact, I like the fucking challenge, personally, and I like to challenge myself, and I'm just hungry. I just want to be better than yesterday, and I think that's naturally the idea and the goal. And you know, that's me. That's just me, and I couldn't be more happy, man. Honestly, like, you know,
well, you gained a client and a friend, and like somebody who we hang out with on the regular in the shop, and like it's even gotten to a point where you're like answering the fucking phones.
He just
like,
knows the deal.
Yeah, like you've been here enough, and you've been here long enough where like you understand how we move and how we operate, and if somebody calls in, you're like, oh, well, let me see if Robbie has time for that, or see if Nick has time for that, or whatever. Like. You do a really good job at like keeping like, you know, not only being our friend but also being like almost a coworker at this point, because you're here every fucking Wednesday. Like it's bananas.
And that being said though, because I was up for that, whether it was a squeeze and, you know, maybe disrupted my next appointment, maybe, you know, 10-15 minutes or something like that because I wanted to smoke a couple cigarettes or whatever the fuck. You know, that being said, because I took that, you know, I've made personally just this past year, I probably made 30 grand just last year off of just him alone. One person. He was sold, and you know what I mean?
I mean, it didn't start out that way though, because when I first started telling you my ideas, you were like, yeah, cool. You're like
schedule something.
Yeah, you're like schedule something. And I was like, no, I'm serious. And you were like, yeah, that's what everybody says. And I was like, no, like I'm serious. Like this is what I want to do. And like we started talking, and when I started telling you ideas, like me and you kind of clicked really fast. And I would tell you something, and you would be like, all right, cool, but what if we did this way? And you like started like kind of like mapping it out, and it was cool because I could actually like kind of see how like you were like explaining it. Yeah. And it was a lot different than any other tattoo artist I'd ever talked to. Not only for, you know what I'm saying, being able to like sit there and explain everything, but for the fact that like when you would like say something, like it would match my idea, but then it would even also probably take it to the next level, because there's a lot of my tattoos like that Frankenstein piece, you know, like there's a lot of stuff on there that, you know, honestly I couldn't have been more happy with that, you know.
That's awesome, man.
And I mean that was why my whole right leg, literally, that was, I told Nick, I'm like, yo, you can run with that and
do whatever you want, whatever you think. Just make me look right.
I remember I was coming in for a guest spot. I think it was a guest spot, or I was just in town. I was going to Trader Joe's, and I wasn't even working here yet, and I was just popping in to say what's up. I remember that day.
Yeah. And Kyle was here.
I had a bunch of frozen food in the car, and I had never met Kyle before. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to pop in and say what's up to Nick, and I'm going to fuck off. Is when I was working in St. Pete still. And I popped in, I came around the corner, and you were working on his back. Yeah. You were like finishing up his back. And I was like, yo, that shit's fucking tight. And you were laying down, face down. So I have no idea who you are. And then you roll over. I'm like, no fucking shit, dude. Because we went to high school together. So it was like even cooler. And then also I started learning that like, you know, 2/3 of Nick's clientele I either went to high school with or I skateboarded with growing up. So it's like, it's just insane, dude, to see that many different people come in and out of here. Yeah, dude.
It was even funnier, though, because we actually had a class where we literally got stuck sitting next to each other, and the teacher honestly hated both of us.
Because we both were probably pieces of shit.
Yeah. I think, honestly, me and you would, like, talk to each other, and I think we were, like, the only people, and she would literally, like, set us in the far corner, and it wasn't just for 1 year. It was, like, 3 years in a row. We had the same teacher, and she just hated us more every year.
Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I don't remember any.
She wasn't really a great person.
I didn't have driver's ed with you though, did I?
No.
Dude, I can't remember who I had driver's ed with, but I just would fucking die the whole time I was in there from this one dude. It was so funny. Can't remember his name. But anyway, we're going too far back in the past. So we don't want to talk about that. Those are the dark times for me. Yeah. So have you noticed now that you've been getting tattooed by Nick for so long that you're very open to like his interpretation of your ideas at this point? Like at what point were you like kind of like, you know what, dude, you kind of have a pretty good idea of what I like, kind of run with it? Because I've noticed that like on your appointment dates you just kind of show up and Nick's like, well, we'll do this and this and this and this, and you're like, fuck it, man, let's go. Like it's gonna be tight.
It's cool because I can come in and me and him will sit down and we'll start like spitballing ideas, and we're like, we'll start picking stuff out, you know. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of shit I felt so bad for him because it was cover-ups, and I counted how many. There was 16 of them that he had to fucking cover up. And I'm going to be honest, some of them were probably the most god-awful things I'd ever seen. Yeah. And, I mean, honestly, the first thing was my legs when that got fixed, because I wouldn't even wear shorts. Like, that's how bad my legs were.
Dude, I'm not going to lie to you. It doesn't look like your legs are cover-ups. Like, usually you can and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass, but like when you look at Kyle's legs, it doesn't look like it's a bunch of cover-ups. And also, if you want to see some pictures of Kyle's legs, go on to Quick plug, OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding.
The Liberty Tattoo
quick
Club,
plug,
Instagram,
yeah, for Liberty.
You know, we have a bunch of stuff posted on there.
Yeah, you just posted up all the healed photos of his torso. Was it healed or fresh photos?
Most of it was healed. The thing I think what was fresh was I think the Beetlejuice.
The Beetlejuice was fresh.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah. The pictures of your torso, dude. Though that fucking low
Beetlejuice,
rider on your tummy.
But we haven't even gotten the pictures of the witch on the back of my thigh.
Yeah.
There's so much new stuff now.
Yep.
Honestly, that I mean,
couple blastovers.
But naturally, you know, some of it was just so goddamn rough. I was like, dude, I tried my best to like kind of, you know, cover and camouflage as best as possible. And I was like, dude, man, like we're just gonna have to fucking blast over this shit, and some shit's gonna show through. And you know, and I told him that, and he was like, fucking, anything's better than this, and you know, he was right for sure, but. You know, before I just jump in and slap something over and just do like a hard fucking heavy black blast over, like I gotta naturally inform you of like what this is going to look like.
See, it was a lot different because like other people when they do cover-ups are like, cool, this is gonna be dark. Like you were like, yo, this is gonna be the spot. Like you know, it makes it a lot easier when you have somebody that's actually like willing to like take the time and explain shit to you instead of, you know what I'm saying, like just be super short and expect you to like kind of know. Like I didn't know, like, and even from hanging out with you guys, like some of the stuff you guys used to talk about, like I'd be in the back and you guys would be talking about stuff like tight groupings and shit, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like,
the fuck are they talking
I'm like,
about?
So
what's a bug pin?
Yeah, I'm like,
he's like sitting there on his phone as we're talking. He's like,
I won't lie. Like I went home and I've probably spent a lot of hours honestly on the internet trying to just learn. For the fact, you know what I'm saying, like being able to be here and be around all this, like I honestly loved it. And like at first I didn't even tell anybody like, oh, you know, I was looking like this up, but I just wanted to, like, you know, out of curiosity. And then like the more shit I started finding on the internet, then like I started looking up artists, like old flash,
it's a rabbit hole, dude.
And I won't lie, I can get lost in it for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, the one thing, like, I know that Chaz's episode seemed a little, like, gatekeepy. Like, oh, I don't care about teaching anybody anything unless you ask the right questions. But I mean, I am too, to an extent as well. And I think that that's important in tattooing because you want to meet someone who actually cares. And when Kyle approached me, because I'm a collector of books and I have a lot of, history, like, tattoo history books. And Kyle approached me and was like, hey, man, is there any of these books that, like, I could learn some more shit about the Flash that you guys talk about, or about past artists like Lyle Tuttle and the Bowery, like the whole New York scene that, like, it's Stoney as well. And you were like, dude, I want to read this shit. So I was like, fucking, like the public library, dude. I was like, here you go, take these. This book's worth $500. Don't fuck it up. Like,
I'm like, I won't even crease the pages on this one, dude. I got you.
But no, I think that that's rad, man. And not even in a sense where, like, you seem like you want a tattoo. You just want to be informed because you hang out here so often. Like, sure. And if you did start tattooing, I wouldn't have a problem with it because you seem to actually care. You know what I mean?
I also would not either, personally. Because
you spend so much time
which takes
in the
a lot
shop.
For me to say or admit.
Yeah, right?
I honestly never thought I would hear those words.
Nick said it live on the air. Also, okay, we're only at 20 minutes. So what else, Kyle? What do you... Yeah, I kind of like... I've been thinking about this, and I've been talking to so many people that have been listening to the podcast, and they're like, you guys should talk about other stuff than tattooing. And I'm like, we should probably change the title of the podcast if we do that.
I was going to say, but then, you know, if you start touching on all that other stuff...
Daily events.
You know, might as well just be, like, hanging out, you know, instead of...
That's kind of where we're at, though. Kind of. Like, I mean... Adam was kind of talking about guns. I kind of
like the environment of how you guys have like the hanging out, but you guys also talk about stuff that's going on. Yeah, I mean that's the whole reason everybody's listening to this.
And which jumps right back to where we just were with Kyle, just being interested in knowledge and stuff. And this is the only thing that I genuinely appreciate. First and foremost, is that you went about it as if it was an apprentice. Like, okay, step one, history.
Yep.
Where did tattooing come from? Where did it start in America? How did it become this big? And it's history, and that's exactly honestly, how my fucking apprenticeship started.
It's literally fucking mind-blowing,
dude,
what you can learn. And like honestly, like when I was on the internet, I didn't even know where to start. Like for where tattooing started, like you you click that and like literally your phone's like,
Oh,
here's 50,000 things
ancient,
because there's so many
Tabori.
people that like think they started it with.
Oh, yeah.
And it was mind blowing.
Dude, I started reading the Stony Knows How book that I picked up, and you
Yeah.
can't find it. Good luck trying to find it. I got it, and I spent a lot of money on it. But it's an actual like biography about Stony that they did like tape recordings of him talking, and in the intro to the book they talk about, like the 1968 hepatitis outbreak that was in New York, and that made them shut down tattooing out there. And, like there was really no like evidence that actually happened, that it was related to tattooing, but they took it out on tattooing anyway.
Sure.
And I feel like nowadays you're kind of having a different kind of epidemic with tattooing, where like everybody wants it, like they did then. Everybody wanted to get tattooed during the pandemic. Everybody wanted to get tattooed nonstop.
I think I made more money,
dude.
I think I made more money during like COVID, like than I ever had.
Like when you tell somebody that they can't have something,
Exactly,
though, they want it that much more.
Prohibition,
and so that's why I also feel like it's awesome, when people are like, oh, hey, guess what? I'm not going to tattoo you today, but if you want to schedule, because then not only that, it gives you time to think about what you actually want.
Sure,
because if not, I'm not going to lie, you're going to end up with a bunch of shit on you. And
story of my life, personally.
Dude, that was how I started too. And
yeah, dude, when
accessible.
I first started like getting into tattoos, I was just like, I thought it's such a funny thing that like I thought that everybody could tattoo at a level that was across the board.
Yeah,
like I legitimately thought that if you were a tattooer, I thought if you were a tattoo artist, you could do everything, and I was so ignorant to all of it. But I was just getting tattooed and getting tattooed and getting tattooed, and now like that I've wasted all of this space on stuff that I don't really dig. I'm like, damn it, man. Now I'm kind of stuck with it, but also I'm kind of cool with it, man. It's kind of like where I started and where
History
I came up.
Book,
So that was another thing. I mean, so me and Nick kind of like knew the same people even back in the day.
Yeah.
Before I knew who Nick exactly was, and one of the people that worked for his dad.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
He actually was tattooing and thought he was gonna like teach me to apprentice, and so I let him tattoo me because I was younger, made bad choices.
How old were you then?
I think I was like maybe 16.
16.
Yeah, so, but I was like, cool, I can go get this tattoo and not have to worry about it. And, one of my friends, was like talking about him and like talked him up. And so I ended up sitting there. He gave me a tattoo on my wrist.
Yeah.
And I
It'll
ended
be
up
covered.
Yeah.
That's gone now.
But also, I won't lie, that was the only tattoo where I've ever seen it to where there was a dot that he did.
Oh, like a little party
remember? Dot? No, I showed Nick, and literally it was like sunk into my skin.
Oh yeah.
I had never seen that before. Yeah. But he actually was like, hey, you should apprentice. And for some reason, at 16, I was like, yeah, dude, it's super.
Fuck yeah.
So I was like super excited and everything like that. And so I went in the next week, and I was sitting there like watching him, and he was like talking, and next thing I know, he literally handed me the machine, and like didn't even tell me to put gloves on or anything. Like I had to put it down and put the gloves on, but he handed me the machine, and he was like, I have to go inside. And I was like, what? He was, my probation officer's here, so clearly you know how this story's fucking going. But so he's inside doing that, and he just hands me this machine. He's like letting me tattoo somebody that worked for Nick's dad back in the day.
No shit.
And I have the picture, and it was this tree, and I felt so bad because it was like supposed to be, some tree for somebody in like remembrance. And he just hands me this machine, and he was like, yeah, go ahead and shade this brown in there. And
oh fuck,
I'm
so
like,
you just jumped right into color.
I'm like sitting there, and I'm like
insane.
All right, like he had never had me do anything before that, like anything, like literally first time there.
Nothing, like,
within
sweet,
2 hours,
he
was like, you got this, and I was like, what?
Unbelievable.
Like,
Dude.
I won't even lie, I did it against my better judgment, and I told the kid that before he let me do it, because I was like, I'll be super honest, because he like asked me, he's like, have you done this before? Nope.
Fuck nope.
And he was like, oh. I was like, I won't do it.
But you know, you were a teenager though,
Yeah, you were a
man.
kid,
And Rich, he's old enough to know better, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's older than all of us, way older than all of us. He's probably close to my dad's age, and he should have all people have known better. But you know, he probably started the exact same damn way. And,
well, you know, even in my
you know.
apprenticeship though, dude, it was kind of like my first 2 weeks, and I was shading in a little piece on my mentor's sister. You know, and it was just like,
Sure.
you know, luckily for me, I mean, this dude just walked away from you and had to go deal with whatever.
Piss off. Good luck.
And he came back and was like, had a drink in his hand,
Yeah.
like, and then he's like, just like checked in. He like walked back inside, and I'm like,
Yep.
well, bro,
That's
how
insane,
am
dude.
I
My
supposed to-
apprenticeship
So literally, like,
varies
you know,
tremendously, dude.
I won't lie. So like, I'm like looking at like how I'm supposed to shade this, and I had been watching obviously a shit ton of videos on YouTube, you know, because I was like, I was super interested in it, you know. So I had been watching all this, and then literally as I'm like going to do it, I'm like looking and I'm like, dude, this is not how the fuck they did it on any of those videos.
Why is this not?
And I'm like, I'm literally like using this person's skin to literally like figure out how to do this shading.
Yeah, totally.
And like, I won't even lie, back then nobody even told me stretch the skin. Like, you know, this is all shit I learned from being here and watching. But I mean, nobody told me any of that. So this fucking poor guy was just tore the fuck up.
Huh?
The flashing.
The flashing is normal.
No.
It's flashing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're all
Fuck
flashing.
me. All right.
Sorry, Kyle.
So
my apologies.
he was just tore the fuck up. Like, honestly, when we got done, I felt so bad. His skin was red, and it was beyond
beat
raised.
up?
Like, I'm pretty sure he probably had a bruise for like 2 to 3 months. Like,
Oh, man.
if not, he was probably permanently scarred. And I felt so bad because
His heart was bruised.
nowadays, I mean, I know better.
now you know better.
But back then, you know, I was like, yeah, cool. Just, you know, let me jump into this real quick. And
Dude, that goes back to like the whole like ignorance is bliss, or like when you get older you'll understand, and like now
Right.
you have a large regard or respect for tattooing, and you're like, oh, that was fucked up. I probably shouldn't have done that. And I think that not enough people actually understand that coming into it. Like,
No.
And also, the situation that Kyle was in is what you're going to go through when you do your first tattoo. But luckily, you're going to have somebody around you. You're going to have a rough idea of what you're doing. Like, I was lucky enough to have somebody standing over my shoulder when I first started. But then after that, they kind of pissed off. Like, it was like...
mine was with his probation
Slowly.
officer.
Yeah,
So.
slowly piss off.
I had months and months of my mentor just like, why are you doing that? I'm like
See,
dripping in
You're
sweat. Like,
sweaty.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
I would have rather done that than just been handed that and been like, cool,
totally,
figure
yeah.
it the fuck out. And you're like,
You're not learning anything at that point.
literally,
Yeah.
I literally had the look on my face like, fuck
Yeah,
you want me to
dude.
do with this,
Right,
dude?
yeah.
Like,
But
like,
And that's what I was getting at too, though. Like my apprenticeship, dude. You know, I just did nothing but draw and clean and scrub tubes and hand cut stencils, and I didn't even touch a fucking machine. Now let me clear this up. When for months, I mean at least like 6 months, at least. And when I was able to touch a machine, that was breaking my mentor's station down, and I was able to take the tube out, trash, you know, whatever, clean room, needle, bio, red sharps container and stuff like that. And that was the extent of me touching a machine, and I couldn't have been happier and privileged. Like I graduated, like that was my next grade, and then I did that for like another at least 4 months. Then he like graduated me to like he trusted me enough to do his setup.
Yeah.
And set his machines up, and you know he would fine
is where so
tune
many
and
people, like-
wiggle tube around and stuff like that. But that's still like he trusted me enough, and that meant the world to me. You know, I was doing something right. I earned that next doorway.
You did well enough to get to that next step.
Yeah,
like
know.
most people that come into an apprenticeship nowadays, it's like you immediately start breaking stations down. You immediately start setting up machines. You immediately start doing all that stuff, and art isn't the focus. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's just what it seems like for me. I mean, I haven't had
For
an
sure,
apprenticeship in a
nowadays.
while, but I'm saying now, like, I mean, but like, I'm also,
Get in there,
I'm
make
also
that money.
guilty of that though, because my buddy Casey,
sure.
like, I helped teach Casey how to tattoo, and he, I mean, this dude's been tattooed by everybody though. Mario Dessa, Jeff Zuck, like.
But he's
this kid,
hungry for
He's hungry
information.
for info, dude. He loves
And
information.
I genuinely appreciate
And-
that, and I think that's what I appreciate about Mr. Bobby Beatdown right here.
Yeah.
More than anything is you know everything that I acquired was a homework assignment, and everything he has the same exact knowledge, but he sought
Sought
that information out his damn self.
Yeah.
And I can't sit here with a straight face and tell you that I would know that knowledge on my own.
Oh, dude, I got the perfect transition
you
right
know what
now.
I mean?
Well, and seeking out information is important, and I did that. And this is not an advertisement at all for the podcast, but if you're hungry for information, let's just segue right into that. I'm going to be attending the course. It's Machine Co. Seth Safari is putting out a really awesome video today, which you're not going to hear this in time, but if you do hear this, he's doing a machine building seminar essentially on the internet. He has multiple courses. Webinar, there it is.
Yeah.
A webinar to build machines out of basic stuff that you have laying around in your workshop, if you have a workshop. If you don't, you're going to have a little bit of a tough time. But if you have basic tools, you can learn how to build a machine on there. I believe it's hand tools, a power drill, a file.
And a power drill is the extent of the power.
And also, but if you don't have the itch to build machines completely, he also has courses on there for liners and shaders, retuning them, getting them to run the way that you want, and they're reasonably priced. Now, a lot of people are like $400 is a lot of money. I completely disagree because I spent way more money trying to figure all that shit out than $400, and you're learning it.
It's an investment. It's
not, dude.
And even I understand that. Not even being, tattoo.
And you're learning it from like the horse's mouth. You know
what I'm saying? Like, if you want something though, like, and it's nice. Like, I mean, that'd be like going and buying a gun. Like, if you buy some cheap fucking gun and you try to protect yourself, and you're like, damn, now I'm dead.
Shit jammed, dude. You know what I mean?
And also, not to mention, though, if you don't know who Seth Safari is, or Workhorse Irons, he is an incredible, amazing, one of the best, world-renowned machine builder, stellar, incredibly nice guy. And, as well, if you're a tattooer and not looking to, gain information on how to build machines, you should also definitely, if you tattoo for a living, this is my clutch here, you should absolutely 125% understand and know the tools that you work with that make you money on a daily basis.
100%.
How many people have you worked with throughout the years that if they break a fucking spring, or they got a little solder lug off a coil that's just bent cunt hair just touching the frame and grounding that out, and they're like, I'm done here. Nothing I can do. Figure that shit the fuck out. It's not that very damn complex. Like, you should be able to troubleshoot. You should know your fucking tools better than anybody.
And 100%. I think that it's really important to understand, like you said, that the tools that make you money every day, you should understand how to make them. Now, I understand the mindset of, well, I'm making money, I could just buy more. Dude, I bought 1 million of machines. Like, I have a drawer full of tattoo machines. I got a lot of them.
Whether I use them or not.
What I would say is the ones that I use every day, if a spring breaks, which happened last week, and the spring break was my fault. I was pushing that machine too hard, but it broke. I hopped in the back room. I have some spring stock. I cut it up the way that I learned from Seth. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, reaching out and asking those questions from him or from the guys at Blood Money Irons. Like, learning how to do that stuff and get my machine running right again is super important. Now, if you're using rotary machines, like, that's awesome too. Go for it. Awesome.
Yeah, whatever.
But if you want to use coil machines and you want to learn some information, I highly recommend checking out Machine Co. on Instagram and doing that course, because I'm super excited to do it. I'm signing up tonight for it.
I'm super
jealous. And I'm going to watch the fuck out of all of it. Well, I mean, all my info is your info. So naturally. Golden.
But I'm also really super jealous. Like, this guy like hung out with Seth and like went to Seth's house and built a machine with Seth.
Yeah, I got to meet Rhiannon. I got to meet Rhiannon, his machine apprentice.
Blessed.
Yeah. And it literally just came down to like, yo, dog, I'm trying to come over to your place and check out the workshop.
So
and he's like, cool, man, come by.
I'm not that cool, you know?
No, you could just, I mean, it's just a message on Instagram.
I met Seth in Salt Lake City and stuff, and it was super brief, and he would never remember me, you know, naturally. But he was super nice to me.
So I feel like that's also a difference now compared to, you doing it later on than what Nick did, because you also had Instagram back in the day. Nick couldn't have been like, hey, I'm gonna shoot this guy an Instagram message.
MySpace, and who was
I lived that transition
or
of
the
MySpace.
Forums, though. I mean, you got to think too. Who was the dude that was doing it? Mike DeVries, who did all those forums back in the early 2000s, and like there was a lot of good information on there. There was also a lot of bad information on there. But also, as a tattooer that started in 2016, I read all of those forum posts from like 2002 2003, trying to learn some shit. But yeah, I am super lucky that I got to reach out and ask the questions on the internet.
Sure.
Where like a lot of people, back in the day, you'd have to send them a letter. You know, if you wanted to get a machine from Paul Rogers, you had to send a letter.
Yeah.
You had to know somebody that knew his address to ask for it. You know?
Or even in my earlier days, trying to stray away from my mentor and stuff, and just trying to ask those questions and stuff. Which nowadays I genuinely appreciate people asking questions, but
yes.
I was just asking questions and shit. Sometimes like I got false bullshit answers, like the complete opposite way. Like, oh yeah, definitely use a tight 3 and an open 15 mag, like with no rubber band.
Definitely no rubber band allowed.
Obviously, that's the way to do it.
The rubber band's slowing your machine down.
Like, thanks, man. Thank you so much,
dude,
man.
I was listening
I'm like, dude, what a dick, man. But I get it, though. I get it. Dude. I'm here now, and that's the idea, and that's the difference. You know?
I was listening to Randy's podcast, and I don't know if we're allowed to shout out other podcasts, but fucking the Dip and Rip podcast is so funny, and he's talking about Jimmy's talking about how he had this machine and it was running shitty, and he like goes to his coworker and he's like, hey man, like you can check this out, it's not running right, and he's like, yeah man, you got to put some new coil wraps on that, and he bought the coil wraps on National or whatever, and then he wrapped them up. He's like, yeah dude, it's running so much better now. Like,
bro.
Thanks so much, dude.
Totally. That's so funny.
I got info like that too when I first started. It was like, and I think the biggest thing for me was like being strayed away from like learning that stuff. It was like, hey, you don't need to learn this. It's not important. Just buy a machine. Spend the $500. Get another machine if it breaks. And I was like, that sounds really wasteful. Like
extremely ignorant.
Full of steel, like that's just sitting there, or iron that's just sitting there. But yeah, sorry for the super long plug on that. But back to Kyle. Hey, what are you doing? How you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
When's your next appointment?
Wednesday.
Are you going to touch it again Wednesday? How much space do you
Kyle,
have?
a.k.a. Mr. Wednesday.
To be honest, we're pretty much almost out.
No, you're running out of room. When are you going to do your neck?
That's what we were just talking about the other day. We were texting about that. Yeah.
Dude, shouts out to you for like completing your arms, legs, and torso, then doing your neck. Because my back is wide open and I got my throat tattooed like a motherfucker.
Well, whatever, dude. I saved my back, man, honestly, and I couldn't be happier about that.
Yeah, well, that was a good move. I mean, getting it done by Trevor was awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we need to get Trevor on the podcast.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna,
That's gonna be. So
I got like everything else, like pretty much heavily tattooed, pretty covered up. But I was like, my back, I have a stupid tramp stamp on there, and my back was literally like my last big chunk of skin, man. And I was talking to Trevor, and he's tremendous. He's incredible, and it's like, dude, man, I don't have a fucking eagle on me, man. Like let's do a fucking eagle. He's like, yeah, fuck yeah, man, like Jerry Eagle. And with all due respect,
I knew what you were thinking, though.
I was like, man, fuck Jerry, dude. I was like, I want a fucking Trevor Eagle, bro. And he's like, yeah. And dude, and he's been crushing those eagles and the talons. They're like so fierce and mean and sharp looking and stuff. They just look visually tough as fuck. And I couldn't be happier, man, honestly. I didn't really save anything like that, so I was pumped that I did for whatever reason save that chunk of skin, man. But I'm
not gonna lie, I was really stoked that you asked me to tattoo your neck the other day. I was
dude,
like,
I got
awesome,
bullshit
man.
on here, man.
I'll try to blast over your neck as best as possible.
Yeah, I mean, dude, whatever, the goobers that tattooed me and stuff, I was just all in, and I was super young, and I knew, at a young age, I just wanted to be heavily tattooed and be covered up and stuff, and I was, even getting tattooed by professionals,
the pros,
at a young age and stuff, and then one of my best friends, like childhood growing up, he was doing like a tattoo apprenticeship, and they after a couple months, like, let him loose, like, he was able to tattoo and stuff, and he hollered at me. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, and we're just, like, looking off these, like, big, gaudy, like, space taking up motherfucking, like, flash racks. I'm like, yeah, bro, that's cool, that's fucking, like, yeah, I don't care, but, like, whatever,
run every Cherry Creek piece off that sheet
fucking,
right now.
and here I am. Hi, guys.
Tat me up, bro.
And now I got cover-ups on cover-ups and blast-overs and third-gen cover-ups and stuff, and for a long time, man, I beat myself up about that, and I don't know, I just stopped caring. It was definitely a big part of my life, and with that being said, I think that if I didn't experience that or go through that, I'm not sure if I would be exactly where I am today.
Dude, it makes you appreciate it so much more, man.
Yeah, so I'm way more picky nowadays, naturally, and
which I don't know why you got tattooed by me, dude.
No, man. If I want to get tattooed by you, if I approach you and I want to get tattooed by you, I have zero limits. Like I have the slightest Vegas idea. Do whatever the fuck you want. Don't consult with me on colors. Don't consult with me on any fucking. You. I want you to be fucking happy. And that's my gift. You know what I mean? Because I appreciate you and your work, and I want to get tattooed by you. You have zero limits.
You know what else too is like when you go on guest spots and then you're like at a shop and then the tattooers ask you to tattoo them. I've noticed that sometimes when people come through, they'll be like, "Hey man, let me tattoo you. Let me tattoo you."
Like,
and that's always a no.
No,
every time.
Yeah.
If you ask me to tattoo, like if you ask me to get a tattoo from you, it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like
no.
when people even ask
Unless
me
you're Steve
to
Byrne,
tattoo them. Yeah, unless it's Steve Byrne.
Get a tattoo.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
If Chad Kuplinger walked in and was like, "Hey
Let
man, let me tattoo
my
you."
savings account, you know.
Yeah, you can have every dollar in my wallet, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
But no,
man.
like I think that traveling too and tattooing different tattooers and like getting tattooed, I was really bummed out when I went to Portland and I got to meet Seth. I tattooed MJ and Simone at New Rose Tattoo, and fucking they like asked to get tattooed by me, and I wish I would have had the time to get tattooed as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was so busy in between, just like I think I only guested there for like a day or 2 days or something, and then jumped
never
right.
enough time.
Yeah, dude, it's never enough. And also Portland's super weird, man. Like I thought Portland was
I've
gonna
heard
be
good
way
and bad,
cooler.
you know?
Yeah, it's definitely
super cool.
No, don't get me wrong. I had a really awesome time. I ate some really rad food.
Yeah,
but
that's
like
cool.
the town, I guess it might have been the part of Portland that I was in, kind of just shut down at 7. It felt like I was in Venice. Like it was weird.
Like the
dude.
Villages,
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah, dude. I was like, Adam and I were walking around at 9:00 at night, and there's like 3 other people. Yeah, go ahead. But yeah, dude, travel, man. Travel and go get tattooed. Yeah, and do tattoos on other people. You know, and for you, just keep getting tattooed, man. Your shit's coming together. Super hardcore.
Yeah,
I dig it a lot.
super excited.
You want to take a quick 5?
Yeah.
We're at 40 minutes. So when we were taking our break, we were kind of talking about how, some people come in and they have a whole lot of nerves and they're like, in their headspace of being stressed out about getting a tattoo or whatever.
Well, from a whole customer perspective,
Yeah.
I mean, I never was, just for the fact of how like much I appreciated tattoos and like how into it I was. I mean, also I came from, a little bit of a different life than, some people that are,
Most people.
so I mean, I've always lived by you can't fear anything. Like you just have to be able to do it. Like if you're going to be scared of something, then why?
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you know. So, but some of these people come in and it's weird because from a customer perspective, you can tell some of these people are like so nervous. Like literally I've watched them like shaking as they're going to like sign the paper.
Oh yeah.
And I get, like people get jitters and stuff, but some of them, I just, it's like pure nerves to where they're like almost nervous. And it's weird because
so nervous it makes
they're
them
nervous
awkward
of like,
as fuck.
yeah, and so then they act super goofy like how you guys were.
Also, like as a tattooer, even I still kind of go in. I remember the first time I went to Electric Gold downtown to get my torso worked on. I was dripping buckets of sweat, dude. Like
Listen, there's still times when Nick's tattooing me. I won't lie. I start sweating because guess what? Some of that shit is not fucking
and
fun.
And it fucking hurts, dude. Yeah. And like, even like, I mean, for me, following Skylar around, he's been to like 4 different shops since not because he's bouncing around, because one was a guest spot and then he bounced around to 2 other shops, but like fucking going into new places and meeting new tattooers and being vulnerable in front of them immediately, like getting my stomach and my chest worked on, in front of all these brand new people that I don't fucking know. Like if it was just Skylar and I in a room, I can be a little bitch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can kind of like be open about how I feel because he understands and he's my friend. But like being in front of new people fucking sends me right through the roof, dude. I get all nervous and like clammy and like shaky, just like those people that come in. So I try to not like be shitty with them when they come in and do that.
As
but
understanding
sometimes
as
it's
possible.
fucking hilarious when you're like just stand normal and then a girl will like
But
twist
see,
their whole
there's a
leg.
difference between being nervous and being a little entitled prick.
Yeah, well, I mean that happens too sometimes.
Because there's,
Very true.
I hate to say it, but nowadays everybody that is younger is entitled as a motherfucker.
Oh, dude, for sure.
And I'm not really sure where that came from because even when I was growing up, like you earned that shit. You didn't you were never that much of a dickhead to where you just were like, I'm entitled because guess what, my parents have money or like I just it blows my mind.
Also, sometimes like people will come in and then they'll be like, I want to get tattooed today. I have to get tattooed today.
I'm leaving the planet.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what Bobby says that all the time.
I'm going to the moon tomorrow. And like, but dude, like people come in and then they're like, I need to get tattooed right now. Like, no, you fucking don't. No one needs to be tattooed right now.
Yeah.
This
If
is not
they're
the
gonna
ER.
spend their money on drugs.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, sometimes that's the case.
typically,
Yeah, butterfly lady the other night.
Listen. Oh my
That's
God.
100% true story, man.
Yeah. But no, dude, like, and people come in and then you tell them like, hey, I'm busy, like, and I try to look them in the eyes and be like, yo, I want to tattoo you, homie. Like, I want to do this tattoo for you, but I don't have two of me, dude. Like, I have to do this other tattoo.
Nice, right?
And I try not to be like too nice, but also I want them to come
No,
back.
I'm saying
right?
two of us.
Yeah, that would be sick, dude.
Two of me?
If there was two of us, dude,
bro,
you'd
forget
get too
about
much
it.
tattooing done.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. There wouldn't be any other tattooers in
We
town.
could just switch off, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
From
right.
tattooing and bullshitting, dicking around, drinking beers and stuff. And
Fuck that would make the other one work the whole
Yeah,
time.
the other one
Like,
can I
dude,
just
you
be
got
wasted,
this.
dude.
Like,
dude, I have a fucking god honest true story, 100% fucking true, man. Talking about that though, like entitled little fucking assholes, man. I have these people. I've been tattooing for every bit of fucking maybe 8 years, pretty much like since I moved down here to Sarasota and stuff. And I've like tattooed their like damn near whole entire family, all their homies, all their friends and stuff like that. And, I generally do not tattoo underage people just because typically they're fucking assholes. And realistically, my personal, I just don't think, anybody is in their 100% mind state.
Dude, I don't even think a 21-year-old kid.
No, I'm barely there.
Yeah, I'm barely there
like
as well,
in my
32.
30s and shit. You know what I mean? Like
cover-ups.
I'm
If
being
I could've made
generous.
fucking good decisions about, you know.
Yeah,
what I'm
that's what
saying?
I'm saying. Like
yeah.
18 is such a low bar to me personally. You know what I mean?
I get crazy that now like cigarettes are 21, but you could still get a tattoo at 18. It's like
crazy.
dude,
Yeah, if that's what's going up, then that should be the
that
the
should
age.
be the same.
You know what I mean?
But at the same time, like tattooing 18-year-olds is money, right? Like it's like parents gave me $300. I'm gonna come get a tattoo.
torn.
It's like it's tough. But like when a fucking 20-year-old kid comes in and wants to get their neck tattooed, I'm like fuck right off with that. Like I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like
Hell yeah, dude.
you can go make that bad decision somewhere else.
And there's
I'll go to bed.
there's 10
Yeah.
shops down the road within
Yep.
fucking 5 miles
way
that'll
rather
be
not
happy
take
to
your
do
money.
it. Like print that shit off.
I
Sweet,
love
that's what
how
you
I
want.
try to
Boom,
encourage
stamp.
you guys. I'm like, you should totally do it.
Yeah.
You guys are like, fuck off,
Yeah,
Kyle.
dude.
I'm like, dude.
I mean,
you know
but
how
you definitely
sick
gotta
that
get
would be?
a character read though on the person, the individual. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
What
see,
kind of
it's
a
also
mentality,
awesome that you guys
mindset.
make good judgment calls. Well, not even judgment, I guess. It's just shows who you are as a person.
Having
You know,
integrity.
you're not like, guess what?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'll fucking tattoo anybody just because you have the money, and I know if not, you're gonna go spend it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you guys also though take into consideration like, I'm not gonna ruin your fucking life.
Yeah,
And-
but
Well,
also
yeah.
like if the kid comes in and they want to get like let's just say like something a tratty piece on their hand, right? And I know that I can knock it out. There's this weird internal push and pull with me where I'm like they're gonna go down the block and it's gonna be shit.
right.
It's gonna be
But
bad.
I know that this is wrong, and I
know
know
that
I'm
this
gonna
is
go
wrong,
do
yeah.
a good job though.
But it's like it's like a weird like kind of like a
damned if you do,
Yeah,
damned if you
dude, for
don't.
sure.
Naturally, you
Double-edged
know.
sword, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. It's tough. It's tough to balance for sure. But I don't know. You're just not in the right headspace naturally as a 16-year-old. Not even as an 18-year-old. Not even as a 21-year-old, 25-year-old. You know, especially this day and age, there's so much bullshit going on, so much shit going on in the internet and Instagram and stuff. And dude, me personally, dude, I am so fucking anti-fucking Instagram, like anti-social media and
is
shit.
just the
Like
downfall of-
riffraff, dude,
Yeah.
just fucking riffraff, man. And I separated myself from that. And
You know what though? I will say as an avid user of TikTok and Instagram.
Addict.
A very I'm
It works,
fucking
and it
bad.
is efficient.
But wait, I've been seeing like these like color realism or like you remember the one I was
Yeah.
telling you about where it was like the line, like it was a red line that went all the way down this girl's finger and then she had a little geo piece here and I look at them and I watch the video and I'm just like my brain is boiling immediately.
Yeah.
And then I'm like I'm gonna read the comments just to see all these girls go, oh my god, and tag their friend, let's go get it. Nah, dog. Now the top comment is post that shit in 2 weeks. It's gonna look like dog shit. Like you're starting to see but you're-
Hashtag, yeah.
you're
Healed
starting
pics
to
only.
see
Healed
people,
pics only.
Like you're starting to see like this younger generation of people understanding that like, yo, that might look really tight right now, but that's gonna look like
Balls
hot
pulling in.
garbage. He's pulling in.
Mhm.
All right, cool. Let's say what's up to Trevor when he walks in. But anyway, guys, so we're at like the 50-ish minute mark. We're just gonna wrap it up. We are done here with episode 6. Kyle's going to be on so many more episodes.
Yes,
so we'll have
naturally.
Kyle back
in between episode guest people and stuff like that for sure.
Yeah. So thank you all for listening. If you can, please rate us 5 stars. Yeah, buy some t-shirts, merch. Buy some merch. Hit the link in our bio on our Instagram, which is Tough Luck Tattoo Podcast on there, and please rate us 5 stars on Spotify. Please check out Anchor FM if you'd like to become an active listener, and if you have any questions, concerns, or things that you'd like us to try out here on the podcast, go ahead and leave us a DM on Instagram there. Thank you all for listening. See ya.